All right, welcome back to another video about Once Human on the Steam Deck. Today, we're going to be talking about button layouts. There's still no controller support. As we all know, there's a few different layouts that people have posted, but I'm not sure if you looked at them. A lot of them seem confusing because you're trying to put everything on there. Honestly, for me, there's buttons I'm sacrificing because I don't use them all the time, and other buttons that I use the most. So the way I set mine up, I'm going to show you guys, only because I am willing to sacrifice some buttons for the sake of other buttons. But I believe if we press the Steam button, you can see the layout. So this is my layout. As you can see from the top, we have our scroll wheel up and down as our R1 and L1 buttons. Mostly because when you build, and of course I added a build button because it's not there natively. I needed something just in case I wanted to change the height, even though I realize now that I don't have an Alt key, which of course that will have to be the button that I tell you guys you'll have to make it interchangeable. Either way, doesn't matter. So for the most part that I did with changing my buttons around is using the back paddles. So that would be your L4, L5, R4, R5. Now what I did to make it easier for myself is that I made the L4 and R4 the left and right click button, because I find it a lot easier just to click those for whether you're confirming or not when it comes to building. On top of that, I did the L5 and the L6 going to be my crouch and my dodge, or my dodge roll, whatever you want to call it. That made it easier for me personally, only because it's easier for me to hold this thing. I have a big mitt, and those two buttons, super simple. I'm literally using my ring fingers for both of those. And then I'm using my middle fingers for the control tab and the C key. Now for how I actually put the building functions on there, I use the D-pad. If you look in the bottom left corner, you're gonna see that up is for the map for M, down is for inventory, so I did put some quick slots. And then I have Y, which is gonna be your interchangeable button. Now, if you're gonna play with a group of people, and you are, just change the left D-pad button to whatever button you need it for, if you need it for something in particular. Me personally, I just need it for group invites. Other than that, everything else was fine for me. And of course, the right button is gonna be the build function, and that's gonna be easiest for me to do. So it's just like, oh, hey, it's gonna be the button that's not gonna be always used. Obviously, we don't use the D-pad for everything unless you're playing fighting games, and even that, the joysticks are much easier. Now, stock the buttons for your X, Y, A, and B, those came already. So, your A is going to be jump, your B is going to be E, and then your X is going to be R, as well as your Y is going to be, F, which is cool though, because the R button is still to destroy things. F is going to be to replace anything. And so the main thing I found missing in this whole in the whole controller was just the build function. Out of everything else, the build function is the hardest part. Now, what I also changed, if you can see for the R3 or clicking your button, that was something else. Now, for me, what I made that button turn into was cap locks. So it's going to be able to switch shoulders of which gun you're going to, or which direction, because sometimes when you're playing around certain corners, you're going to need to switch your viewpoint. And I found just clicking in R3 is the easiest, obviously. Now for your left trackpad, I just left it as using it going up, down, left, and right for the numbers. Now for me, the only thing I really needed was the left to be 4, because that I just put the healing stuff in that slot. I mean, we can get anything from the inventory, and we totally just created an inventory button, which was the down on the D-pad. So I don't really need anything else. And for the most part, as long as you have your axe or your mine or your drill or anything like that in your hotbar anyways, it's automatically going to be used. So you don't actually need a number button for that. Now there's some layouts that change all buttons around to include all the numbers between 1 to 0 and minus. And I just feel like that's too many buttons to try and remember. And you're going to be fumbling around when you need them the most. So at the same time, it's just what do? We need buttons to fight, which is your controls and stuff like that, your joysticks and your triggers. And then there's going to be buttons when you're in downtime, whether you're collecting mats, whether you're building, functions like that. Now, of course, here comes the other caveat. The same thing, like I said, that Y button, the left D-pad. Now, if you wanted to do your free look, you would make that D-pad going to be the tilde, or the button right underneath escape. So I just reserved that button for whatever. Now, there are some doubles and some duplicates. but I'm not really going to mess with those right now, only because I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I want to see what they're going to come up with for when they do have controller support, because you do know that they are going to be putting this on mobile, and if they're going to put it on mobile, they have to make it simplified. So maybe they're going to have a button where you hold it and press a button, or hold it and you do something else. So right now this works for me, but I'm going to post this video. Please leave in the comments if this was helpful. Also, if you have any idea of how to upload before I figure it out, or if you want me to upload my controls, if you think it would be helpful to you, let me know. And by all means, please like, comment, subscribe, help me tickle this algorithm, please. And follow. Oh, snap. I totally forgot to show you guys how things work. So let's do that. So if we come out here, right? And you see, like, we're just actually moving around. I can show you the buttons that I'm talking about. So like when we're talking about building, here's literally the build function. And then you're gonna left click, or that L4. You have all your menus in here. And of course, you know, all you have to do is click on stuff, because you can move through menus still, because you still have that ability with the right click and all that. You can pick anything you want. And of course, if you want it using the mouse track, you can put it there or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's that. Let's cancel that. Wait, still getting used to these buttons. And then if you ever needed to move anything, like, you still have the F key. Let me see, where is it? Technically, we can still move things around. So you still have all your building functions. Now, when it comes to the crouch and stuff like that, see, there goes crouch, roll, crouch, roll, pull my gun out, roll it, crouch. And it's not that hard, to be honest. Like, I find that these controls are a lot easier. Then you have your quick functions. You have your map, up D-pad, building, and then you have like your inventory. And like I said, as long as your stuff is sitting here, you'll be fine. Just make sure this is your health. And I'll show you, because as soon as I press, well, hold on, let me get out of here, sorry. As soon as I press right on that left trackpad, wait, is this one for, or is it left? There we go, it's the left. And it's easy. On top of that, weapon switching is easy too. And so, you know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, this was what made it easier for me. It may not be easy for you. Okay, now I can end it. Please like and subscribe. Hopefully I just cut out all that mumbo jumbo in the beginning. Peace.